Hello, and welcome back to Make Your Comic Today, a week-by-week catalog of my journey to complete a webcomic, and maybe yours too. We're making a comeback, guys, and it's about to be epic. I do apologize if my voice sounds funny, I'm a bit under the weather, but we keep moving forward. If it's one thing I fail at consistently, it's my ability to sit down and concentrate. I've been told before I'm a dedicated worker, but I have trouble seeing it when I have so much unfinished stuff on my plate. To be fair, I may have put too much to start there in the first place, so who can say for sure? This week, for comic making is no exception. There was line art for the background that needed finishing, coloring for an entire page still, and even some lighting and shading to be done. On top of this, there was still my side project of the actual webcomic to think about, which I didn't even get to work on for weeks now. So much to do and so little time to do it. When we hit this wall, it's easy to feel discouraged. Nobody wants to think about their art as a to-do list. But no more, I said. And guess what? I sat down and began checking things off one by one. 'Cause that's just how we reach success. Not by staring at the work needed to be done, or by viewing our projects as a chore, but by recognizing we are in some control of our future. I wanted this. I want to see my comic out in the world. It wasn't going to put itself out there, and maybe that's the hard truth. This comic might haunt me forever. I figured a mini-story ought to take no more than a week, right? I had Old Mermaid close to 2 or 3 by now, and it's tempting to back off at this point and try something new. Maybe it's even good for you to get away sometimes, and that's okay. Unfortunately, I was born a stubborn human, so that was out of the question. If you're like me, we put our heads down and get the job done. This week, the first and second page are on the road to completion. I shared this process during one of my live streams. We do a new comic page every other week or so, and if you'd like to come hang out, we stream on Fridays. So how are things in the comic world? Honestly, with the first page done, I've been able to look forward without much obstruction. It's these initial hurdles, I believe, that want to stop us, and sometimes we let them. I let them. But with success under your belt, it's easier to see where to go next. This is why I suggested starting small to give you that piece of joy to help carry you forward. Of course, I only dabbled again with the other 3 pages, but I learned a thing or two doing it, such as perspective. It sucks. Often considered an art on its own, perspective serves as a staple of true talent in an artist. These lines can be used to tell an entire visual story on their own and add true depth and emotion simply by knowing how these lines work. I am not one of those talented artists. I learned perspective some 5 years ago and still can't do it 100% correct. Maybe it's just me, but man, it's hard. I just about wanted to throw the whole thing away because of it, but I didn't. I made it through, and maybe it's because I realized it's not about the perfect details, you know? On this creative journey of mine, I've noticed the amount of detail I like to put into my work, specifically the background art. While I do believe a nice background is cool to look at, going overboard with certain details might be slowing us down. Here's an example using my recent thumbnail art. For those who don't know, I'm currently in the process of creating my very first public webcomic. But before your comic ever sees daylight, it begins as a concept. These early sketches are what helped me visualize an entire page without having to do any of the unnecessary work yet. But do you notice something? Well, maybe not, and that's okay. Your roughest sketches are just for you after all. From the opening in Pearl's office, Clay is making his way into the real world of Hope Harbor. I wanted these small, slower moments to be a foundation, so later on, we can look back and truly reflect on the past and present emotions, such as Benjamin West being the center for Clay's heroic visions. But look how little I needed to show this. I want a bit of light across the taller man's back, and Clay looking up almost every time he's reminded of their vast differences. This is storytelling. Not the detail or lack of, it's what we were able to tell the audience through our art. Here, Clay doesn't see himself as heroic like Benjamin. Not yet at least. He sees himself as a loser, so it creates this big divide. While I do still want my characters to feel grounded in the current environment, I wonder if there's a way to achieve this same effect without ruining the time management. Let me know in the comments if this is something other artists struggle with. I could use the advice. But you know, work isn't without effort, and trying isn't without failing. It's how we learn and grow. I might not be proud of every piece I make, but I am so excited to be doing what I love at last. You don't need to be perfect to tell your story. And honestly, I'm proud of what I managed to do instead of waiting for things to happen. And who knows, maybe we can have a full mini comic done by week 5. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. Tell me in the comments what you achieved this week in your story. Did you come across a great challenge that might be holding you back? Or was there a small success that you take great pride in? I'd love to hear from you. But as always, keep making stories, and I'll see you in week 5.